It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hint Hive, the podcast where we amplify women's voices and empower you to live your best damn life. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, Queen Bee of this hive, and today we're diving into a topic that might have you scratching your head. WTF is a life coach, and why the heck do you need one? So picture this. You've got dreams as big as the sky, goals as fierce as a lioness, but sometimes navigating through the jungle of life can feel like a solo expedition without a map. Or maybe you feel like you have no dreams anymore. Or maybe you feel like you're so stuck that you can't think about anything except simply surviving. That's where a life coach swoops in like a superhero. But hold up, what exactly is a life coach? Well, think of them as your personal cheerleader, a strategist, and accountability buddy all rolled into one fabulous package. They're not here to tell you what to do. They're here to help you unlock your own superpowers and unleash your inner Wonder Woman, or Superman if you prefer. Now, you may be wondering, why on earth do I need a life coach? Trust me, honeybees, life can throw curveballs faster than you can say queen bee. Whether you're stuck in a rut, feeling overwhelmed, or just craving a kick in the butt to chase those dreams, a life coach is there to whip out the pom-poms and remind you that you are capable of anything. Although, in my case, it's not really pom-poms that I whip out. I usually open a can of whoop-ass, grab a torch, and get to work setting the world on fire. I can get a bit, passionate at times. Now, you may be thinking, but wait, isn't all of this what therapy's for? Let's talk about the differences between life coaching and therapy. So, therapy is like delving into the depths of your psyche, dissecting past traumas, making peace with your inner demons, all that fun stuff. In therapy, we go deep and we do some really hard work, often involving very strong emotions and releasing lots of pain. It's like a deep tissue massage for your mind and your soul. On the other hand, life coaching is all about the here and now. Instead of a deep tissue massage, coaching is like, a nice back rub, a pat on the back, and a go get 'em, tiger. It's about setting goals, crafting action plans, and bulldozing through obstacles like a boss babe on a mission. It's like having your own personal GPS guiding you to your destination with sass and style. So why choose one over the other? Well, it's like comparing apples to avocados. Therapy is fantastic for healing wounds. But life coaching is your ticket to the VIP section of the future. It's about turning I wish into I will, and strutting down the runway of life like it's your own personal catwalk. Now, it's really important to emphasize that life coaching is not a substitute for therapy. It's more focused on personal and or professional growth and development. Some coaches like to say that therapy is focused on the past, while coaching is focused on the future. Now, as a very well-trained and licensed therapist with lots of experience, I can confidently and expertly say that that is not necessarily true. And this is why I feel like, I'm about to say something icky that will piss people off. I feel like I make a better life coach because of my training and experience as a therapist. Some life coaches, without the specialized training that I have, do not know how to stay in their lane. And that pisses therapists off to no end. Trust me, I have had tons of conversations about this with therapists. In the therapist versus life coaching world, there's a lot of disdain, a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration towards life coaches because some of these life coaches do not stay in their lane. Unfortunately, I've seen this in Facebook groups. It's something that drives me crazy. When I see life coaches that are not therapists, they are not trained as therapists, they have absolutely no training whatsoever in the world of therapy. When I see them asking questions in these groups about, I was just about to give a specific example, but the therapist in me does not allow that. The therapist in me wants to keep my sense of confidentiality about me. So I won't give specifics, but I have seen coaches in groups asking how they handle certain situations in their coaching practices that are so incredibly inappropriate for them to be dealing with at all. There are life coaches without the training that they need that market themselves as trauma coaches, mental health coaches, addiction coaches. And if they don't have extensive training on these very, very sensitive issues, they are actually practicing therapy without a license, and they could get in a ton of trouble. That is not looked at very favorably by regulating agencies. And this is another reason why so many therapists get really frustrated and write life coaches off, because they feel like life coaches are skirting the system. They're going around the boundaries of therapy. They feel like, they didn't put the work in to get the education that they need. They didn't pay the money to get the master's degree and do all of the internship hours and go through all the pain of getting licensed. And yet they're doing all of this regardless of that. And so understandably, as a therapist myself, I don't appreciate it. And I know other therapists don't appreciate it because, like I said, we've had those conversations. Dear life coaches without any training in these areas, stay in your lane. Get out of ours. Not cool. Not cool at all. Also, another thing that I've seen coaches do who are therapists, and this is a big no-no, a lot of coaches try to skirt the boundaries of therapy by technically doing therapy with people across state lines. So for those of you who don't know, you have to be licensed in each individual state as of right now. You have to be licensed in each state where your patient resides if you are going to provide therapy to them while they are in that state. So for example, as a therapist, I'm only licensed in the state of New York. And so I can only provide therapy to people who are physically located in the state of New York. So if you go on vacation and you tell me that you are in a different state, I cannot legally provide therapy to you. Although there are some exceptions to that. There are some states that allow that allow if somebody's on vacation and they still need their therapist. So that is not, it's not a hard, fast rule. There are exceptions. But for example, if somebody lives in Montana and they want to see me for therapy, they can't, because I'm not licensed in Montana, unless they plan to fly to New York every week to see me. And that probably isn't going to happen. So there are therapists that try to get around that boundary by saying, oh, I'll just do life coaching, but what they're really doing is therapy. That is such a gray, sticky, icky area, and the therapist is opening themselves up for a heap of legal trouble if they do that. I can tell you that as a coach, I see people in all different states. I see people around this country, but we are not working on their mental health dysfunction. We are working on career goals. We're working on relationship issues. We're working on family dynamic challenges. We're not doing therapy. And I'll get a little bit more into that here in a second about how I determine who is appropriate for life coaching versus therapy. So ultimately, I do want to caution anyone out there, if you are looking for life coaching services and you have trauma to work on, you gotta work on that trauma with a therapist. You can see a therapist and a coach at the same time, and there may be some intersections there. But a coach should never be working on the trauma piece unless they have training in that. And again, there's such a gray area when it comes to some of these mental health issues. For example, I can do mental health coaching in a sense. I don't put myself out there as a mental health coach, but there are times, for example, when a woman's anxiety kind of holds her back a little bit, but she's not at a dysfunctional level. Like, she's still able to carry about her day-to-day tasks. Her anxiety is not limiting her in a functional capacity, but maybe it's just holding her back a little bit. Maybe she's afraid to step out of her comfort zone. That right there, that's my sweet spot. Come to me. We'll do coaching together because I can absolutely help you around that. But if she was having severe panic attacks and she was unable to leave the house, and she was struggling to keep a job because of her anxiety, nope, we're doing therapy together, because that's a level of dysfunction that needs to be addressed. And so that's really, again, sorry, one more thing about, like, if you're looking for a life coach, either as like a supplement to therapy or instead of therapy, and you have some trauma that is still affecting you, or some anxiety, some depression, some mental health issues that are still affecting you, but you don't want to seek therapy, as long as you're at a certain healthy level of functioning and you want to enhance your life a little bit with a life coach, but you want somebody who is well-versed in mental health issues, really honestly ask their credentials, ask the coach how they've been trained, ask them, like, okay, so I have some anxiety that at times can be debilitating, but overall it's pretty good. I wonder what your training is in dealing with people like me. So that's an absolutely appropriate question to ask of a life coach. Because you have the right to know whether somebody is equipped or not to deal with certain scenarios. When I worked at an addiction agency, I worked with people who had mental health and addiction challenges, and quite often, like, we worked on mental health stuff, we worked on addiction stuff, but outside of session, they needed a little bit more. And so that would have been a great opportunity for somebody to get a recovery coach, because a recovery coach doesn't need to do the therapy pieces, but they act more as a support. They act as an accountability partner. kind of like a sponsor. If you think of AA, like I don't know if this is a good parallel or not, but I feel like a recovery coach can be very similar to a sponsor through AA. So try to think of it along those lines. Again, like a therapist is more for the dysfunction piece to get you to a level of functioning in your life where the daily activities that you do are not painful or impossible to do. Whereas a coach is typically working with somebody who is at a different level of functioning where they just want to enhance their life. They want some personal growth. They want some professional growth. They want to, kick ass and take names, and they just want to get in touch with like their inner badass. Like those are great, great people for coaching. So just keep that in mind if you are trying to figure out coach versus therapist. And of course, you can always reach out to me and ask. I'm very, very approachable in stuff like that and knowledgeable because of all of my own life experiences and educational and professional experiences. So I've had other coaches and other therapists ask me, how do you determine the person who calls you, whether they are appropriate for coaching versus therapy? And I always tell them that it goes back to what the person's goals are and what is their current level of functioning. Because again, if their goal is to work on childhood trauma, I'm going to say, I really feel like it's therapy that you need and not coaching. And I offer them, like if they're in the state of New York, I offer either service to them. I would offer therapy to them. And if they're not wanting to do therapy with me, and I have assessed them and believe that their current level of functioning really requires therapy, I would tell them, okay, so I would be more than willing to work with you in coaching. However, you would have to also be in therapy because there are certain issues that we will not be addressing in coaching that I believe you need to address before we can kind of work on some of the goals that you have for coaching. And again, I kind of touched on already the levels of functioning. If somebody calls me and they're not in therapy and they're telling me, my depression is so bad that I can't get out of bed every day. My depression is so bad that I call in sick often. My depression is so bad that my personal hygiene is really suffering. Then I'm going to say to them, I'm sorry, but I can't do coaching with you unless you are also in therapy. Or I'll say to them, I don't think coaching is appropriate for you. Let's do therapy instead. Let's get you to a place where your level of functioning is more appropriate for coaching goals. Because I don't know if any of you have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can go ahead and Google that. So basically it talks about it's like a triangle, and at the very base of the triangle are the very basic human needs. So for example, if you have somebody who does not have housing, that's a basic human need that's not being met. You wouldn't really work on fitness if somebody's basic human need at the very bottom of the hierarchy of needs is not being met. You first would need to work on securing housing. So I often use that model when determining which is appropriate, coaching or therapy, when I have someone contact me. If they're contacting me about one versus the other and they're asking me questions. Now, if somebody calls me and says, I want to do therapy, and I do an assessment and they're appropriate for therapy, that's what we do. I don't say to them, why don't we do coaching instead? Because it's also based on what the person wants. But as the expert in my field, I have to make sure it's appropriate that the level of care they're asking for is something that can be provided. So if somebody's basic needs are being met and they're just wanting to take their life to the next level, absolutely, that's a no-brainer. Coaching is totally appropriate. Some of the coaching that I have done has been some of the most fun work I've ever done in my life. So when I have people in my personal life ask me, so what is a life coach? Like, what do they do? What do you do in coaching? I love to tell them, for me personally, I transform women into fierce warriors who go after what they want in life, because that is really where my passion is. Now, I work with men in both coaching and therapy. So this is no shade to men. And it's not like I don't have the ability or desire to help them. But where my specialty is really pumping up women. And if you've listened to any of my prior episodes, you know why. And you know that that's who I am, is I'm going to help women because they have been marginalized for far too long in society. And even though we have made great advancements, we are not at the place of equality. But that's an argument for a different day. So basically, I just get so much satisfaction when I work with a woman who she kind of knows who she is, or maybe she doesn't know who she is at all, and I can see who she is. And she doesn't quite know where to go or what she wants or how to get there, or she's saying, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Oh, I get so excited about that because I'm like, girl, let's go. Like, I'll help you figure this out. And so I really take the time to help them get in touch with who they really are, taking away all of society's expectations, taking away all of the family expectations, and really getting down to who are you? Who do you want to be? Let's get you there. I will give any woman I work with my confidence. I will hand it right over. If you feel like you don't have a backbone, guess what? I'll give you mine. If you feel like you don't have confidence, guess what? I'm going to give you mine, and I will show you the way. We will get there together. I get really, really fired up about this. And don't get me wrong, the men that I've worked with in both coaching and therapy, I get so excited to help them also and to watch them break through some of their barriers. Because again, as I've stated in prior episodes, the patriarchy hurts both men and women, not just women. And so when I am able to help a man release the shackles of societal expectations for men, I get really, really excited about that too, because also it's just beneficial for everyone. If I can help a woman through helping a man, then that's a double bonus. So I guess me being a therapist and a coach isn't as altruistic as sometimes it seems, because I get satisfaction out of it also. I get the collateral benefits of feeling like I was part of somebody's amazing journey, amazing transformation. So yeah, I'm not going to lie. It feels good. It feels really good. So part of it for me is really tapping into how I felt lost at one point in my life, how I didn't have the confidence to move forward. And a lot of it stemmed from being a woman. I had limitations put on me by society. And once I figured out, wait a minute, nobody puts limitations on me, and I busted through all of that, I turned into the crazy ass, passionate feminist that I am now. And And it just brings me so much joy to help all of you. Anyone who's listening to this podcast right now, I don't care how you identify. I don't care who you are. If you came to me and you said, I need help, okay, call to action. Let's pick up our arms and go. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready, willing, and able. I love, love, love helping people find their inner badass, because there is no reason why any of us should feel like we can't go after what we want in life. And I think I stated this in a prior episode. I blame all of this on my parents for what they named me, because my full name means, and this is my maiden name in there, it means female warrior of life. If my parents didn't do anything else right as a parent, they named me adequately, because let me tell you, that's how I approach everything. And also, I'm humble enough to know that that's not everyone's style. I do not work well with everyone, because some people do not like my approach, and that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't get butthurt. Why? Because I'm confident in who I am. I don't need the approval of others to know my worth. And so if any of you out there are saying, oh man, I wish I could feel that too, call me, text me, email me, message me. I would love to show you the way, because the more women that come into their own and find their confidence, oh my gosh, ladies, we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. I can't emphasize this enough. So again, if you are feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like you are not happy with how your life is going, please reach out to me. Let's get to work on this. I would love to help you find yourself and to go after everything that you want to go after in life. That's the coaching side of me, for sure. And also, life coaching isn't just for the rich and famous. It is for anyone ready to grab life by the glitter-covered horns and ride that unicorn into the sunset of success. So please, reach out. Go to my website. You know what? There's, on my website, you can read the blog post that I have about, the difference between life coaching and therapy, if you want more information on that, or just read through some of the other blog posts on there. Read about some of the information I have on there about anxiety, depression, self-esteem. Use what I have out there to kickstart all of this. And then if you're still needing more, please reach out to me. I would love to work with you. Like I said, anyone out there who needs my help, I would love to be part of your journey. All right, that's all for today, my amazing queens. I have yammered on enough. So remember, you are capable, you are worthy, and you are absolutely slaying it every damn day. And if you don't believe me, then maybe you need to give me a call and we need to work on this together. Until next time, stay fierce and keep buzzing in the Hint Hive. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out kellymhint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out thecrankycounselor.com.